And they're giving me like 1,000 warnings that it's going away, whatever. All right, folks. So we are a little bit late tonight. We were going to be going on at 7:30. My man Ron is not in the building right now. I'm hoping he jumps on and is able to join us on Facebook, and then maybe we can get it loud enough so we all can just communicate across the platforms. So I'm looking to see if he's going to join us here on Facebook, and then we can do it that way maybe. But right now, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, make sure that you follow me on Twitter at Casual at KASUWELL. If you're not on the Facebook page, please join the Facebook page, Twitter. Everybody that's watching this video, wherever you're watching this video from, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Dolphin Fan Voices podcast is myself. I am Isaiah, a native Miamian. Shit, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I am originally from Miami. I grew up across the pond from Lake Lucerne. I was maybe 2 minutes away from the stadium. I've been all over Florida, but now I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I also have another guy here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
What's up, Miami Dolphins fans? My name is Jay. Been a Miami Dolphins fan all my life, and happy to be talking football with my brother Isaiah. Listen, Isaiah, if I don't speak to you tomorrow, bro, happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to all the Miami Dolphins fans out there.
Thank you, man. Um, you were not in our last post or our last podcast. So I'm gonna give you a lot of leeway to express some of those things that you didn't get to express last time, man. A lot of people know my opinion on this previous draft, um, and I've said it a million times. Uh, what did you think about the 2019 Miami Dolphin draft as it ended up?
Listen, Isaiah, normally around this time of the year, I normally know what the Miami Dolphins are doing. I know we're probably going to start off slow, losing the first part of the season. We're going to beat the Patriots every single year, and nobody really cares, only but Dolphins fans. I know we're going to be in the middle of the year. We're going to be competitive, but we're going to lose our way at the end of the year. Going into this year, the 2019 season, I really don't know what to expect. Um, I love our first round pick in Christian Wilkins. He's a smart player. He's a versatile player. Um, he's a guy that can come in and instantly be a leader. Um, he have played on the biggest stages in college football. I mean, he's a guy that I love. Our second round pick, Josh Rosen. Listen, I'm not a Josh Rosen fan. Um, I wasn't excited when it happened, but
Right,
I guess kind of I'm leading myself into being sold on it.
right.
Um, yeah. So to me, those was like the picks that stood out to me. Why you so? Let me ask you something, bro. Why you so hard on my boy Christian Wilkins?
Why am I so hard on Christian Wilkins?
Well, I'm not gonna say why you're so hard. Why you're not completely sold on Christian Wilkins?
I hate the pick, and the reason why I hate the pick is as I've told people a million times, there's just certain positions that I'm not drafting in the top 15. I'm not drafting a guard in the top 15 unless there's a just one of those extraordinarily great guards. I'm not drafting a running back in the first 15. I'm not drafting a defensive tackle in the first 15. I felt like because this draft was so deep and rich in defensive line talent that I was going to be able to get guys like Draymond Jones and several other players at a better value than in the first round. And the Denver Broncos were able to get a guy like Draymond Jones later in there. I think they got him in the third round. That's an awesome value for a defensive tackle rather than getting a defensive tackle. to me, is the impact of the position isn't great unless you're able to get one of those anomalies. You've got to get an anomaly in order for this pick to make sense. And then you look at the fact that this is a team that has no pass rush, and there were some very good pass rushers on the board that could have easily won in the pick that we selected him. Montez Sweat was one of them. Burns was another one, and I just felt like the value of the guy that we got at the pick that we got him at wasn't that great. And shoot, it looks like he fell off. Man, it doesn't look like it's meant for us to have this podcast today because my guest is has fallen off of the he's fallen off of the podcast. So um, I guess I'm gonna give him a few minutes to get back on, and then I'm going to stop this. And are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that, bro. I got cut off.
All right, all right, all right. Did you hear everything I said about the Wilkins pick?
Yeah, I heard what you said.
Yeah,
Well,
but
for me, Isaiah, it was two players in the draft that I wanted, and that was Ed Oliver and Kristen Wilkins. Because listen, there was no way the Miami Dolphins was going to fix everything in one try. So in one draft, I mean, so I wanted a player that was versatile. Kristen Wilkins can play the 3-4, he can play the 4-3, and listen, everything wasn't going to get addressed in one draft.
no,
You
absolutely not. This is a team with some
tons
hope,
of holes.
and you understand that. But what what you want to do to me is get the best value, the best bang for your buck, right? So if you go out and you get a Kristen Wilkins, right, and he becomes what I think he's going to become at the 13th pick, you get Kristen Wilkins and he comes in here and he becomes let's say he becomes what I think he becomes, right?
Right.
Let's say he becomes a 3.5 sack guy, uh, 7 to 10 sacks for loss, tackles for loss, um, 45, 50 tackles somewhere up in there. And I believe, and this is just my thought, that Draymond Jones in the third round is going to give you a similar impact, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, a guy like a Montez Sweat could come into this team right now and become a 10 sack guy. That is a extreme value. I believe a guy like a Burns, who I can use, I can stand him up, I can put his hands on the ground and put him on the edge. I can use him in a lot of different ways. You can do that with Burns. You can do that with Draymond Jones is a guy too who can play inside. We seen the Giants take a guy like Draymond Jones last year and play him on the end as a 3-4 defensive end. He's got the size, he's got the motor. He's a guy to me that just needs to be coached up, and he's an extremely good value in the third round. This is a guy that just came off an 8.5 sack season as an Ohio State Buckeye. So I just feel like the value for Kristen Wilkins, who, by the way, just finished a 5.5 sack season playing next to two first-round draft picks.
Well,
Who's
Isaiah,
yeah,
well,
go ahead.
Isaiah, you got to remember, and Ronald was asking for the email again, but you got to remember, right? When I go shopping with my wife, I
Right?
always tell my wife,
Uh huh.
babe, I'm not a shopper. I normally like my wife to go shopping by herself, but
Yep.
every now and then she wants me to go with her. But
Yep.
one thing I always tell my wife, they know what you want before you get them. Don't go shopping all around the store trying to get things that you need. Don't try to buy the whole store. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I believe the Dolphins went in the draft saying, listen, we're not going to take a quarterback in the first round. And we're going to make sure that we show up the trenches. Make sure we address the trenches. And I just believe that Christian Wilkins was a guy that they went into the draft saying, okay, this was the guy that we was going to get. Because there were reports that the Atlanta Falcons, they was interested in Christian Wilkins, and they was interested in moving up and getting Christian Wilkins. So I just believe the Dolphins had in their mind what they were going to do. They had a strategy, and I believe that they executed the right way. Now, I'm not completely sold on the Josh Rosen pick, but when you got a guy like Christian Wilkins that can instantly come in and he can, he can be a guy that he's great in the community. You already see what he's doing in the community. He's a smart guy. He's an intelligent guy. He's a guy that can instantly come in and be a leader. He comes with a lot of personality. And listen, the Dolphins right now to me is just kind of dull. You know what I mean? And to bring in a guy like that, I got to disagree with you on that, Isaiah.
If I look up after 3 seasons, right?
We got Rod on.
Yeah, I see him. Hey, welcome to the show, man. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Now, like I was saying, if I look up after 3 seasons, right?
Okay.
And Montez Sweat has 9.5 sacks. He is just becoming the exact defensive end that I thought he was going to be. Draymond Jones is a 5.5 sack guy, 50 tackle type guy, solid. And Christian Wilkins has something similar to which I'm telling you. I've made these type of predictions before. If his stats are anywhere similar to Draymond Jones, I'm gonna cry.
Well, Isaiah, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Ron come in and speak his piece. But listen, if you go back and look at the games that the Miami Dolphins lost last year, the Detroit Lions ran all over our asses. The Detroit Lions haven't had a 100-yard rusher since Reggie Bush. I mean, we're playing in a division with Le'Veon Bell. Say whatever you want about forever Frank Gore. Yeah, Frank Gore is 100 and something years old, but look at what Frank Gore did to help us last year. I'm still not completely sold on Kenyon Drake, but that's another topic that we'll discuss later. But we got to play Ezekiel Elliott. We got to play Saquon Barkley. Excuse me. We got to play Le'Veon Bell twice. What's the guy from New England? The second year guy. What's the running back from New England? I like him a lot. His name escapes me right now, but
Sony Michel.
The running back from New England. What's the second year guy?
He's Sony Michel from Georgia.
Sony Michel. We have to play a lot of tough running backs, and I don't care if you can have Von Miller. You can have whoever you want at the defensive end, but if you cannot stop the run, why the hell would I throw the ball if I know I can run the ball up the gut? I think, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball, our strength is our secondary. If we can just if our pass rush can just be average, I think we got 3 potential Pro Bowlers in Xavier Howard and Minkah Fitzpatrick, T.J. McDonald. He's an okay, decent player. Rashad Jones, in my opinion, still have potential to be a Pro Bowler. If we can just get something out of the defensive end, to me, the most important thing that we needed to adjust was the defensive tackle.
Hold on. All right, now you said that our defensive our run stopping ability was something that we had in question, right? And that's absolutely true. But this is the angle that I have to take this from. If we can't get teams off the field and we can't get a pass rush on a quarterback on 3rd down, and they're able to give their receivers all day to run their routes and break open, we don't have a significant pass rush, and they're able to convert 3rd downs, then how does a tired defense stop the run?
Let me ask you a question. Isaiah, you do know that we were second in the league. I think we were first or second in the league in takeaways. You do understand that, right?
We had different defensive ends at that, though.
I mean, come on, Isaiah. Quinn gave us absolutely nothing. Cameron Wake, yeah, Cameron Wake is a good player, but he's a shell of himself. You know, it wasn't like we had
Can you hear me?
great defensive end.
No, we didn't have great defensive ends, right? But we got worse, is what I'm saying. We got absolutely worse, tenfold from what we had last year, and we didn't address it at all. And it's not like I tell people, it's not about saying, listen, we're gonna go into one draft and grab everything. But when I'm thinking top 15, I'm thinking about the most impactful player that I can find. And when I think about defensive tackle, the only defensive tackles that I can think that are just that impactful to be top 15 players are anomalies. When I look at the top 10 defenses in the NFL right now, none of them have a first round draft pick run defensive tackle. Not a one.
None of them defensive tackles are as bad as ours, though, Isaiah. I mean, you're talking about a coaching staff that believes that they scheme, you know, what eclipsed the talent at the defensive end. There's been reports that Jerome Baker is going to come in and he's going to rush the passer. I was watching some film on the rookie linebacker that we drafted this year, Van Ginkel. He reminded me a lot of Trey Matthews. You know, Trey Matthews from the Green Bay Packers. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm saying his name right, Isaiah, from the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I hear you.
His name is Trey Matthews, right?
You talking about Clay Matthews?
Clay Matthews. I'm sorry, Clay Matthews. Right. Van Ginkel reminded me a lot of Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews. He was a guy that rushed the passer, but you got to remember, Clay Matthews wasn't a big, strong, physical guy. You know, he was the type of guy that, you know, he was very quick. You know, he was a thinker, and that was Van Ginkel. That's what he reminds me of. And I think Flores and them, they're banking on their scheme. And like I say, these guys wasn't going to fix everything in one draft. You know, if the Dolphins would have drafted a quarterback, you would have had people that would be saying, well, why did the hell we draft a quarterback? I'm not sold on Dwayne Haskins. I'm not sold on Drew Lock. If we would have got an offensive lineman, you would have had people saying, okay, we draft an offensive lineman every single year. So the Dolphins was in a situation that I felt like they went into the draft, they knew what they wanted, and they got it.
I can't co-sign. I think this was a terrible draft. I think there was a lot of misses. There was a lot of potential. I even heard that there was a potential that the Miami Dolphins had a trade on the table with the Philadelphia Eagles, which probably would have pushed us down into the 20s, but would have landed us another second-round draft pick to add another piece. There was just
I didn't see those reports.
Yeah, I saw that rumor that the Eagles were inquiring about the trade of, I guess they wanted to come up and get Wilkins. And we had an opportunity to make that trade as well. And instead,
I know Atlanta really wanted Christian Wilkins.
I would have made that trade. Well, no. Well, what was the Atlanta Falcons at in the draft though?
I think Atlanta was. I think they were either 19 or 20.
That's a trade I would have made. I would have definitely made that trade, got the 19th pick, and possibly landed an additional second-round pick that we could have used to place somewhere else. And then if you wanted to make that Rosen trade, you still have a second-round pick to draft. There was just so many variables that we could have came away with a better draft than what we ended up getting. Right now, this entire draft to me hinges on the play and the production of Josh Rosen.
Come on, Isaiah. Now you know that's not fair. That's not fair.
All right, check it out. Look at this now. We draft the defensive tackle with the 13th pick in the draft. We trade our second-round pick to the Saints. We get a later second-round pick and an additional second-round pick for next year, right? Then we take the later second round pick and we trade it, later second round pick and a fifth round pick, and we trade it for Josh Rosen, right? So your first two picks are very, to me, that's very iffy. Then you go and you get Michael Dieter, who I thought was a solid pick. You have no fourth round pick because you traded that to the Saints. Your fifth round pick is I forgot who the fifth round pick was. You remember who the fifth round pick was? Shit.
It was the running back, Gisley.
Was it No, we
The
got
running
Gas.
back.
I think we got Gaskins in the sixth or the seventh, and that's a whole.
No. We got remember we got the tight end Cox, and then we got the running back, and then we got the tackle from Ohio State. So it's either was Gaskin, the running back, or it was Cox, the fullback.
I'm trying to think because I thought we got the two backs. I thought we got the two running backs in the seventh round. Okay, our third pick was Dieter. The fifth pick was our fifth round pick was Van Ginkel. That was the fifth round pick, and a lot of people had a sixth or seventh round grade on that guy, right? Then you go to the sixth round pick, and we get Isaiah Prince, who a lot of people thought was another project. People are still saying that that's a project. You go to the seventh round, you take a fullback, right? When's the last time a fullback has been drafted? And then you go and you get a small, slow running back in Myles Gaskin, who has a lot of miles on the tires. This draft was so head scratching. I don't even like. I can't even fathom how it could have been worse.
Okay. Let me say this, because there was a lot of Miami Dolphins fans when Adam Gates was sending players away, when he was trading them, when he was talking about the culture change and all this other shit like that. There were Miami Dolphins fans saying, "Yeah, get rid of Jarvis Landry. Yeah, get rid of Jay Ajayi. Yeah, get rid of all of our talented players." And now when when our coach that was the next Don Shula left our ass high and dry with no talent. I remember coming on this show, Isaiah, and I told you guys, in spite of us being, mediocre, I said the Miami Dolphins was one of the most talented teams in the NFL. Yeah. Listen, I said that. Now you're talking about a team that's rebuilding. There was no way Chris Greer was going to go into this draft and fix everything that was going on with the Miami Dolphins.
No.
There were going to be fans that's in these Facebook groups and in the Miami Dolphins fan groups that was going to be complaining about anything that Chris Greer got. So to sit up there and say that Josh Rosen, if Josh Rosen doesn't work out, the whole draft is a failure, I don't know if I agree with that.
If Josh Rosen works out and he becomes your starting quarterback, then he kickstarts 2020. If I don't have to invest a pick in a quarterback, it allows me to take all of those picks and address whatever I want to. If he does not work out, I wasted my second round pick for this year. And then again, next year, I have to go and invest picks in a quarterback. But the problem is that we are going to be a halfway decent team. I believe we're still going to be a 6 to 8 win team. So we're going to have to trade picks to go get a quarterback for next year. That's what I mean when I say Josh Rosen is absolutely to me, I'm putting him in there week 1, day 1, so I can find out what the hell I have.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Are we transitioning to Josh Rosen talk?
Transitioning to what?
To Josh Rosen talk. Are we leaving the draft and we're talking about Josh Rosen now? No, I'm asking you.
We can. We absolutely can.
Okay, Isaiah, I went back and I watched every Josh Rosen throw in Arizona. Yep. Let me tell you and Ron something. I'm a horror movie type of guy. My wife get mad at me because she don't like me watching horror movies. She's not a big fan of horror movies. Watching that Josh Rosen film was the most scariest thing I have ever saw in my life. And listen, I don't watch Chucky, The Boogeyman, Freddy. that was one of the most, grotesque things that I have ever watched in my life. And listen, I know people could sit up there and say, well, he didn't have a lot of talent. I'm not buying that. Listen, David Johnson to me is still an elite player. I mean, right now, in my opinion, Larry Fitzgerald is better than any wide receiver that we have on our team. Christian Kirk is an up-and-coming superstar. Well, I'm not going to say superstar. Maybe that's a little over the top, but he's a decent wide receiver in this league. They still had some pieces on the defensive side of the ball there. I want to ask you something, Isaiah, and you be honest with me. Did Josh Allen have more talent on his team than Josh Rosen?
No. Well, no. No.
Offensive line wise, yes, but skill positions, no.
Right. There you go.
I mean, to me, there was just things that I seen out of Josh Allen last year, and that last game where he kicked the Miami Dolphins' ass. That was kind of, you looked at Josh. You came away from that game and say the Bills may have found something. The Josh Allen just doesn't have any talent. There was not one game that I've seen that say Josh Rosen will be able to turn the corner. Even though quarterback struggles their first year, there's normally a game that you'd be like, okay, well, yeah, the kid got something. There were a game from Sam Darnold last year that you said, okay, I see something. There were a game last year from Josh Rosen that you said, I see something. Listen, people said Lamar Jackson was the worst quarterback in that draft last year. There were games where you said, okay, if Lamar, the Baltimore Ravens may have found something. I'm sorry, go ahead, Isaiah.
You're breaking up a little bit. Hey, the thing that people like to say and with Josh Rosen is his protection or whatever he had in Arizona. The problem with that thought process is even when Josh Rosen is protected, he still makes very, very bad decisions with the football. I can show you plays right now where this man is perfectly protected in the pocket. He's got time to throw in the pocket, and he still makes bad throws. And you see that shit. And when I was grading him last year, this is one of the reasons why I didn't have him in my top 20. Because he is a guy that makes a lot of terrible. He got lucky a lot at UCLA. I could say he got lucky a lot.
Well, to me, do you hear me good, Isaiah?
You're still a little bit low.
Okay, do you guys hear me good?
The thing with Rosen is his UCLA film looks eerily exactly the same as his Arizona rookie tape.
It does.
There's amazing throws in tight windows, and then there's just throws where you just smack your face. Just like, what in the fuck were you? I don't know what you were thinking. What was that? And that's the problem with him is his thought process and his decision making is his biggest weakness. Lamar Jackson's problem is his footwork doesn't match sometimes what he's trying to do. So he'll sail a throw or whatever, or underthrow or whatever, but it's not his decision making. Where he's trying to throw the ball is 90% the right decision. See what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas Rosen, he'll ignore the wide open underneath 0 to like 5-yard throw, what the defense is giving him, and he'll try to force it into something deep instead of just taking what's there. And our skill players like Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant can take a -4-yard pass, like Gase's favorite bubble screen or whatever, or a wide receiver tunnel screen. They have the ability to take that straight to the house.
Right.
They can make amazing side-to-side lateral moves while still traveling full speed going forward. It's just crazy to watch.
Right.
And Rosen will pass that wide open underneath throw to try to go downfield, which is an admirable trait. But sometimes you just have to take what's there. Take the 5-yard pass. Now you're 2nd and 5 instead of 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10. Or don't take the sack. Don't go 2nd and 13.
Right.
And that's what you get with Josh Rosen. So now it comes a question: well, can he take O'Shea's coaching and can learn how to try to control some of that wanting to go deep to just take what he's actually seeing and throw it to the open guy? Because you don't have every play, you don't have to throw a 75-yard touchdown ball.
No.
That's just, you can't sustain a drive like that. And if you look at our history, that's what we've had since Dan Marino retired. We'll have some success, we'll run the ball sometimes, but it's not something like you can't cut a check every week saying, okay, this is what's going to happen. Consistency. And when Rosen was coming out, I didn't really have him in my top 5 QBs because of that. It's
right.
And like now, when I say something, it's like, well, you're just hating on him. He had a poor offensive line. How many years have we heard the excuses for Ryan Tannehill, for Matt Moore, Chad Henne? You know, how long are we going to blame something instead of just taking what they're doing? What are they doing with the ball when they get the ball?
Right.
Well, to me, in my opinion, last year coming into the draft, Josh Rosen was, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback as far as throwing the football. I mean, he was my number 1 quarterback going into last year, in my opinion. I remember last year writing you, Ron, and over Baker Mayfield. I'm talking about far as pure throwing talent. Pure throwing talent, Isaiah. I'm not talking about accuracy and decision making. I'm talking about just pure throwing talent. To me, watching film on Josh Rosen, he was the most talented quarterback in last year's draft, and I still believe that. Now,
okay,
that's my opinion. I honestly believe that a coach QB marriage is very important when it comes down to developing a young quarterback. You see what Matt Nagy did with Mitch Trubisky. You see what Sean McVay did with Jared Goff. Jared Goff looked absolutely terrible with Derek Fisher. You know, I believe that you have to be able to pair a young quarterback with a great offensive mind. That's why when we hired Brian Flores, I really like the hiring because I felt like the Dolphins needed to.
Rosen now has Chad O'Shea. Rosen now has Chad O'Shea, the I don't know how to pronounce the dude's name, but the New England's quarterback coach, and we also have Jim Caldwell. So instead of one coach or no coaches, he's got like 3 or 4 coaches.
Well, let's be completely honest, Ron. We don't really know what we're getting out of Chad O'Shea. We're just assuming, you know, because Chad O'Shea has came from, you know, the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots has been successful. We just automatically assuming that Chad O'Shea is going to be a successful offensive coordinator. It's kind of like the ugly girl that hangs around a lot of beautiful women, you know, so she kind of look more beautiful than she really are.
Right.
You know? And I'm not saying that Chad O'Shea is the ugly girl that's hanging around a lot of beautiful women, but I'm just saying we don't know.
But look at the success of Jim Caldwell, though.
Yeah.
He had success in Detroit. He helped Flacco win that Super Bowl in 2012 with the Ravens. He helped increase the efficiency of Stafford in Detroit. He's one of the offensive minds we have too now. And that's, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, but I'm going to try it. Skopinski or whatever. Yep. He's our quarterback's coach. He's had success with Garoppolo, Brissett, and those guys.
Okay.
And the thing with the quarterback class, when you compare last year's rookie quarterbacks with the Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, and you look at their stats, if I'm just a stat guy just looking at the numbers, there's not much difference between Darnold, Rosen, and Allen. They have similar yards, similar completion percentages, similar touchdowns. Now Rosen does stand out. He has more turnovers.
He led the league.
But if you're just looking at just the stats, they're like, if looking outside, looking in, they look like the similar guy. But the media narrative on Darnold is he's the next guy for the Jets. Allen, even though I think he's complete trash, he's looked at as the next guy in Buffalo. What helps Allen is he can run just like Lamar can. I mean, he might not be the same dynamic, but look what he did against our offense. He made fucking Kiko Alonso look like trash.
Yeah, true.
He was running all over the place when he had all the time in the world to throw the ball.
Right.
But what I look at is instead of just trashing Rosen, what I'm looking at is I'm giving him a clean slate because he is on my team now.
Yeah.
That his strengths are throwing down the middle of the numbers. So that means I'm really looking at the tight end position, because if we can have a good tight end, that plays into the strength of Rosen. He loves throwing it down the middle of the field. And I think that's kind of why we moved Kenny Stills to the slot, because that will give him some speed down the middle of the field. And he loves throwing it. His weakness is he's throwing late and out of time to the sidelines, like the out routes and
get that shit
picked up. Corners is he's throwing it late and he's getting it picked up. That's where his interceptions are coming from, is throwing to the sidelines.
Yep.
Well, to me, you guys, the Arizona Cardinals was a mess. Whenever you fire your head coach, your offensive coordinator, and then you draft a guy in the first round, in 1 year you get rid of him, it's about more than a quarterback. So we know the position that Josh Rosen was in, but I still say that he has to improve on his decision making, and we have to protect him. And I'm not buying this whole notion that the Miami Dolphins is just this big upgrade from the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, we have more talent. Yeah, we got some guys that can run the ball after the catch. Yeah, we got Albert Wilson. Yeah, we got Kenny Stills. Yeah, we know Jakeem Grant. You could throw Jakeem Grant a 4-yard pass and he can take it to the crib. We know that. But I don't know if we're that much better than the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I believe that he has upgraded as far as the coaching staff. Jim Caldwell. You look at when Matthew Stafford had success. You look at when Joe Flacco had success, all up under Jim Caldwell. Chad O'Shea, I'm not going to say that he's the next up-and-coming offensive coordinator because I haven't seen it. I'm not going by it because he was with New England. But I will say I do believe that he upgraded far as coaching. But Josh Rosen has to improve. There's reports coming out of minicamp that he's still throwing picks. He's still making bad decisions. So, to me, he have to look himself in the mirror and he have to say, well, how much do you want to prove that doubt is wrong? Listen, how much do you want to be successful in this league? And and my thing with the Dolphins fans, and I'm gonna let you guys chime in, is Dolphins fans, when they like you, they will protect you. They don't want nobody talking about you. They will attack you once you say the littlest shit about a person. You remember how they did Ryan Tannehill. You remember how they did Jarvis Landry when people felt like Jarvis Landry wasn't worth being paid. I don't want us to fall in love with Josh Rosen until he proves to us he's the guy.
And that's the reason why I think this team should give Josh Rosen every single opportunity to prove himself as the new Miami Dolphins quarterback. All of this, I mean, the worst situation that could happen for us is for Ryan Fitzpatrick to go out there, play absolutely great, You know, what is he, a 36-year-old quarterback, something like that? He goes out there, he gets hot, and then we have even fewer weeks to evaluate Josh Rosen. From everything that I've heard, the quarterback class of 2021 is not as deep as the quarterback class of 2020. We end up passing on a quarterback in 2020, and then the quarterbacks that are great in 2021, we don't have the same amount of picks in that draft as we do in the 2020 pick in the 2020 draft. So we might not have the capital to trade up in that draft. It's there's a lot of different variables that I'm looking at, but I'm praying and hoping that this guy can get his interceptions under control and become that successful quarterback that this team has been missing for a very long time.
Well, let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly, Isaiah. You're saying that Josh Rosen should start no matter what, no matter if Ryan Fitzpatrick goes into camp and beat him out?
I am not starting Ryan Fitzpatrick. And let me say this
no matter
to all
what.
No matter what. And let me say this to the Dolphin fans. I understand competition. I understand that normally this is an ass backwards thought process that I have right now. You want a guy to go out there and earn his spot. I get it. But you have a second round pick invested in a guy, and if he works, he opens up your entire draft next year. His success can lead to an entire draft next year of not having to address quarterback.
My take is we really don't have to see Rosen play to figure out if he's the guy. Because if he cannot beat out a Ryan Fitzpatrick, do we really need to see him play? I mean, because if it's a straight up, true, legit competition, you don't really need to see him play. Because if he can't beat out a 36-year-old, what the hell is he going to do on the field?
Are we talking about in practice?
I'm talking about Josh Rosen. For me, I don't actually have to see him start day one to know if he's the guy.
No, I'm saying,
if he cannot beat out Fitzpatrick, then we already got our answer. We go into 2020 with our picks. We move some of those to move up depending on where we landed in our selection area.
Right.
Move up and get a guy that we actually like. It's still not a wasted pick because we have a backup quarterback being paid less than $2 million a year for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but I can get a backup quarterback in the 5th round.
But you can't get one for $2 million or less.
Why I can't? The 5th or the 6th round, I can't. I can't get a guy making less than $2 million. I can get a backup quarterback in free agency. I mean, as an undrafted.
Ron, you know what Isaiah. Ron, you know what Isaiah is doing right now? Isaiah is doing what Ryan Tannehill fans have done for 7 years. Let's not give Ryan Tannehill no competition. Let's start Ryan Tannehill, no matter if he deserves it or not. Let's see what he got. I mean, listen, if Josh Rosen can't, I'm like Ron, if Josh Rosen can't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'd rather go in with Ryan Fitzpatrick and go 6-10 or 5-11 than to have a quarterback out there that does not deserve it, and we pacifying him just because he was a number 1 overall pick. Just because we're not used to Miami Dolphins are not used to anything nice, so we get so excited. I gotta see it. Listen, if the woman is telling you she's not for you, don't force it. That's how guys spend 20, 30 years with a woman that they don't want. That's why we spent 7 years with Ryan Tannehill, and we knew. I could have told Dolphins fans the second year of saying Ryan Tannehill.
I get what Isaiah is saying, though.
Like those Ryan Tannehills.
I get what Isaiah is saying, though. He's not actually looking at literally just doing what we did with Tannehill, giving him no competition. What he's saying is a young player can't improve without repetitions, getting a chance to be on the field. So what he's trying to say is, instead of making him fight it out like a 4-year veteran. Get him out there, give him a chance to be with the number ones, and then see if he falls flat on his face. I get that, but for me, I've came into if like Flores keeps saying that at every position there's not one job out there that's already set up as a starter. That goes for Xavier Howard. That goes for Rashad Jones. That was his comment that there is no sacred cows.
Right.
But I do understand what Isaiah's saying, because at first, when we first made the trade, my thought process was we just wasted a second and a fifth. We typically do well with the 5th round picks that we have. Most of our starters on our team now are 5th round picks that actually worked out. Rashad Jones, Jay Ajayi. I could go on and on and on. Bobby McCain. We've hit on those 5th rounders. Like some other teams don't actually hit on the 5th, but we do. And we gave up one of those to get Josh Rosen. So my initial reaction was, man, this is a horrible trade. But how do we recoup, how can we turn this to the best for us out of that opportunity? And I was like, well, he has to, they have to give him the job. We got to see how he can build a repertoire with Gesicki, Steele, Grant, Parker, down the line. Can't. But then as I backed up and pulled myself back and looked at it, and then that's when I realized, he really doesn't actually have to be on the field. If he can't go out there and get the same if there's Fitzpatrick's getting 5 reps, Rosen's getting 5 reps, and Rudolph is getting 5 reps, the dude that throws the 5 best passes should be your number 1 quarterback. It shouldn't matter, if I'm paying Fitzpatrick $14 million, I'm paying Rosen $2 million, I'm paying Rudolph less than $1 million, or who was the 1st round overall pick. It shouldn't matter. If the guy can play, the guy can play. That's how the Cowboys ended up with Dak Prescott.
Wow. Let me say this real quick. If there are some players that show up better in game time than they do in practice. There was an article that I read I would say a year ago, that came from Jimmy Garoppolo that says he does not practice well. But when he gets out there on the game film, he gets out there in real game speed, then it's something completely different. I want to see what this guy does in game time.
Yeah, we see that with Parker too. In shorts and a helmet, running around with no contact, the dude's a Hall of Famer.
He's the reverse of this.
Then you get on the field and the dude just like fucking, he can't get off the line of scrimmage. He half-ass tries to leap. Yeah, he's the opposite of what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. So if we're basing this off of practice, then we should start Devontae Parker every single year, because he's the greatest. He's a Hall of Fame practice player. And then he plays 2 games and comes down with a toe injury, and we don't see him for 8 games.
Or last year, he hurt his finger and he's out 4 weeks.
Exactly. So I just want to see. I really hope this guy comes in here and does well.
You guys, I was having a talk with my dad, and I was telling my dad, all I want to win. I'm tired of this experiment bullshit. Experiment with quarterbacks. We draft if this quarterback doesn't work. How many times we have seen the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the world, the Chad Henneys of the world, the Chad Penningtons and the Matt Moores. I want stability in our organization. I want a head coach and a quarterback to be together for the next 15, 20 years. Hell, give me at least 10 years of decent football. Right now, I would take a guy like the Bengals quarterback, or I would take a Dak Prescott right now. I would take a mediocre, average quarterback that gives us an opportunity just to be competitive.
Did you just say you'll take an Andy Dalton?
6-10.
You'll take an Andy Dalton?
I'm talking about a young Andy Dalton that every when Andy Dalton was younger, I'm talking about at least 5-6 years ago, the Bengals was making the playoffs every single year. They wasn't getting. I just want a puncher's chance. I just want to be in the fight. You understand? I'm tired of going 6-10, 7-9, 8-8. I just want an opportunity just to make it to the dance, because once you get into the dance, anything can happen. Who the hell thought Nick Foles was going to win a Super Bowl? Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. No one thinks Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback. We think he's a pretty decent quarterback, in my opinion. But
he's like a unicorn. He has shitty regular season stats, but you get him in the fucking postseason, and the dude's like a baller.
Yeah, he goes off in the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I just want an opportunity for a quarterback to get us in a dance. And once
Isaiah posted his stats the other day, and I was like, man, dude. He posted Flacco's playoff stats. I was like, fuck, is this the next coming of Joe Montana?
That's why I don't understand why the Ravens didn't put him in the game versus San Diego. The Ravens probably would have messed around and won the Super Bowl if they would have done so. Instead, they stuck with Lamar. And I understand you don't want to shake his confidence or something like that, but Flacco is he's a very, very good playoff quarterback. Whether it was the 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions playoff run, the very next season after that, or was it? It was either the next season or the season after that. He had the Patriots down twice by 2 touchdowns. He threw 4 touchdowns in that game, but his damn defense couldn't hold water.
If Lamar would have landed with us, we would have been in the playoffs last year.
Yep.
No.
Our system that Gase was running, the system the Gase was running for the past 3 years is almost identical to the Louisville Earhart Perkins system.
I don't think
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach. He's one of the most overrated head coaches in the National Football League. I don't think Adam Gase is as good of a head coach as John Harbaugh, for one. I don't think that we had the veteran players that the Baltimore Ravens had in the subs and they just had a veteran president. I don't trust Adam Gase. That's why I'm not buying that Adam Gase is going to turn around Sam Darnold's career. I just believe coaching have a lot to do with a quarterback's success. And I just think Lamar Jackson was a perfect system for him. We did not have that defense that the Baltimore Ravens had. There were times where Lamar Jackson did struggle and the defense. Do you guys think Matt Burke was going to have the same defensive play that the Baltimore Ravens had? There was no way that Lamar Jackson was going to have the same.
Matt Burke was a clown for our defense.
Matt Burke was terrible.
Now, if you tell me that we would have had Baker Mayfield, you're not going to.
I agree with you. I really want to see our team succeed also, but we have too many foundational holes to have a roster that can consistently fight for, that playoff run. Gase even played into it even worse. He was willing to sign whatever free agent that he thought could take us to the next step. Instead of, like me and Isaiah have been talking about it for the last 2 years, you fill your roster through the draft. You try to fix the spots and give yourself depth with the draft. When you do go into free agency, you try to find the players that mix well with what you already have. You don't just go like Mike Tannenbaum. Well, I'm just going to grab me a Darrelle Revis. I'm going to grab, Dominican Sue. And then without no talent around them, they're going to take us to the next step. And it don't work.
No. My philosophy on the NFL draft is getting great value, especially when you're drafting in that top 15. If I'm drafting a guy in the top 15, I want it to be a guy who's going to come in and he's either throwing the ball or throwing the ball, getting after the quarterback, guarding somebody's number one receiver, or he's protecting my quarterback. I'm not taking a fullback in the damn 13th pick of the first round. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I can get that guy later.
So, Jay, I wasn't here earlier. Do you actually like our draft?
I'm lukewarm with it. I love Christian Wilkins. Me and Isaiah, we don't really see eye to eye with Christian Wilkins, but I love Christian Wilkins. I think he's an instant impact player. I think he's a guy that he's going to come in. He's going to be versatile. He's going to be a leader. He's going to be able to.
I hate our Van Ginkel pick in the 5th round. I don't like that pick in the 5th, Van Ginkel. I don't like our 7th round. I can see the value in trying to grab a tackle in the 6th that we got from that Saints trade.
Right.
But when we're sitting there with Van Ginkel there, and there's guys like if we use NFL.com's how they evaluated, they gave a number score to a guy. Van Ginkel was only a 4.99, and their threshold for a starter is 5.0. When we went into that 5th round, there was Charles Omenihu, who had a 2nd round draft grade, was there, and a bunch of other guys with higher grades. I like Van Ginkel as a pick, but only if you already have other stuff, because he's a situational specialist kind of guy. He's not your 10-sack pass rusher. And I don't see a 10-sack pass rusher on our roster.
Unless Charles Harris comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, but this is his 3rd year. Are we really going to see anything out of him or anything?
Well, I mean, can you judge the players with Matt Burke? I mean, that was just.
No, you can't.
I mean, you got to kind of get the guys a clean slate. You can't judge them with Matt Burke. As bad as Adam Gase was, there were games where the offense did look explosive. They did look kind of fluky good. There were games where we just got turnovers, but the defense still folded and looked absolutely terrible. So it's right. It's just hard to really judge the defense. So I'm willing to give Charles Harris a clean slate. I do think he has the potential to get 7 or 8 sacks. And if you get 7 or 8 sacks from Charles Harris, to me, that's a success.
Yeah. I mean, if we get that from him, and then a guy like Jaron Elliott or some of these other guys are able to step up and be better than what I thought they were, then it's a step in the right direction. I'm still gonna hate the damn pick because we could have been better. But still, that would be a nice step in the right direction. And then you go into next year and you build on that.
Right.
All right, guys. It is 9:20, so I'm gonna end this one right here. I am like I told everybody, I'm working on starting a website that's going to be nothing but dolphin news, um, and it'll have podcasts on it. By the way, all of our podcasts will be up on SoundCloud. I'm still working on getting them on iTunes. Um, I don't have as much time as I would like to have to edit some of the podcasts. I wanted to edit the last one, and I just didn't. I just didn't get enough time to do it. But gonna edit those up at some point, or maybe I think Jay, you said you can edit. Can you edit audio and play around with audio and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can. So we probably can, go live on YouTube, and then once we post it on, we can post the edit version,
right?
And Facebook or whatever other site.
And throw it up on SoundCloud. But yeah, man. Hey, if you guys, whoever's to all of the listeners, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share this on your Facebook page, and we will see you guys next Saturday at 7:30. That's gonna be if that's okay with you guys, I'm gonna leave that as the official time for the show. 7:38 Saturday. That'll give us an opportunity to go over what we got going on as far as the game the next day, if there's a game, or whatever we have going on. Is 7:30 Saturday good for you guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So 7:30 every Saturday. Make sure that you guys tune in. We're gonna start getting more and more consistent with this thing. I will talk to you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share it to your Facebook page, and we're out of here. Peace.